Proverbs chapter 21. The sovereign's heart is as channels of water in the hand of Yahuwah. He turns it wherever he wishes. All a man's ways are right in his own eyes, but Yahuwah weighs the hearts. To do righteousness and right ruling is more acceptable to Yahuwah than a slaughtering. A haughty look, a proud heart, the lamp of the wrong, are sin. The plans of the hard worker lead only to plenty, but all rash haste only to poverty. Gaining treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, heading for death. The spoil of the wrong catches them, because they refused to do right ruling. The way of a guilty man is perverse, but as the innocent, his work is right. It is better to dwell in a corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. The desire of the wrong is set upon evil. His neighbor finds no favor in his eyes. When the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. The righteous one understands the house of the wrong. He overthrows the wrong for their evil. Whoever shuts his ears to the cry of the poor, let him also cry and not be heard. A gift in secret subdues displeasure, and a bribe in the bosom, strong wrath. To do right ruling is joy to the righteous, but ruin to the workers of wickedness. A man who strays from the way of understanding rests in the assembly of the dead. He who loves pleasure is a poor man. He who loves wine and oil does not become rich. The wrong is a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous for the straight. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and vexed woman. Desirable treasure and oil are in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man swallows it up. He who pursues righteousness and loving commitment finds life, righteousness, and esteem. A wise one scales the city of the mighty and brings down the trusted stronghold. Whoever guards his mouth and tongue guards his life from distresses. Proud, haughty, scoffer is his name. He acts with arrogant pride. The desire of the lazy man slays him, for his hands refused to work. He covets greedily all day long, but the righteous gives and does not withhold. The slaughtering of the wrong is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with wickedness? A false witness perishes, but the man who obeys speaks forever. A wrong man hardens his face, but as for the straight, he establishes his way. There is no wisdom or understanding or counsel against Yahuwah. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but the deliverance is of Yahuwah. Chapter 22. A good name is preferable to great riches. Favor is better than silver and gold. The rich and the poor meet together. Yahuwah is the maker of them all. A clever one foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple go on and are punished. The reward of humility is the fear of Yahuwah, riches and esteem and life. Thorns, snares are in the way of the perverse. He who guards his life keeps far away from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he turns not away from it. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He who sows unrighteousness reaps trouble, and the rod of his wrath perishes. He who has a good eye is blessed, for he gives of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scoffer, and strife goes out, and contention and shame cease. He who loves cleanness of heart, whose speech is pleasant, A sovereign is his friend. The eyes of Yahuwah shall watch over knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the treacherous. The lazy one says, "There's a lion outside. I'm going to be murdered in the streets." The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. The one denounced by Yahuwah falls in there. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of discipline drives it far from him. One oppresses the poor to increase his wealth. Another gives to the rich only to come to poverty. Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your heart to my knowledge. For they are pleasant if you guard them within you. Let all of them be ready on your lips. That your trust might be in Yahuwah. I caused you to know today, even you. Have I not previously written to you of counsels and knowledge, to cause you to know the certainty of the words of truth, to return words of truth to those who send to you? Do not rob the poor, because he is poor, and oppress not the afflicted at the gate. For Yahuwah pleads their cause, and shall plunder those who plunder them. Make no friendship with one given to wrath, and do not go with a man of rage, lest you learn his ways and find yourself ensnared. Do not be one of those who shakes hands in a pledge, one of those who are guarantors for debts. If you do not have the means to pay, why should he take away your bed from under you? Do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have set. Do you see a man who is skilled in his work? He does stand before sovereigns. He does not stand before obscure ones. Chapter 23. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, look well what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. Do not labor to be rich. Cease from your own understanding. Do you set your eyes on that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle to the heavens. Do not eat the bread of an evil eye, nor desire his delicacies. For as he reckons in his life, so he is. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. You vomit the peace you have eaten, and lose your sweet words. Do not speak in the ears of a fool, for he treads on the wisdom of your words. Do not move the ancient boundary, and do not enter the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer is strong. He shall plead their cause against you. Bring your heart to discipline, and your ears to words of knowledge. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he does not die. Strike him with a rod, and deliver his being from Sheol. My son, if your heart shall be wise, my heart rejoices, even I, and my kidneys exult when your lips speak what is straight. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but be in the fear of Yahuwah all day long. For certain there is a hereafter, and let your expectancy not be cut off. Hear, my son, and be wise, and guide your heart in the way. Be not among heavy drinkers of wine, or with gluttonous eaters of meat. For the drunkard and the glutton become poor, and slumber puts rags on. Listen to your father who brought you forth, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy the truth, and do not sell it, wisdom and discipline and understanding. The father of the righteous greatly rejoices, and he who brings forth a wise one delights in him. Let your father and your mother rejoice, and let her who bore you exult. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes watch my ways. For a whore is a deep pit, and a strange woman is a narrow well. She too lies in wait as for prey, and increases the treacherous among men. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaints? Who feels hurt without cause? Who has redness of eyes? Those staying long at the wine, those going in to search out mixed wine. Do not look on the wine when it is red, when it gives its color in the cup, as it flows smoothly. In the end it bites like a snake, and stings like an adder. Your eyes look on strange women, and your heart speaks perversities. And you shall be as one lying down in the midst of the sea, and as one lying at the top of the mast, saying, They struck me, I was not sick. They beat me, I did not know. When shall I wake up? Let me seek it again. Chapter 24. Do not envy evil men, nor desire to be with them. For their heart plots to ravage, and their lips talk of trouble. But by wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Mighty is the wise in strength, and a man of knowledge strengthens power. For by wise guidance you wage your own battle, and delivery is by a great counselor. Wisdom is high for a fool. He does not open his mouth in the gate. He who plots to do evil is called a master of evil plots. The purpose of folly is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to men. If you falter in the day of distress, your strength is small. Deliver those taken to death, and hold back those stumbling to kill. If you say, "See, we did not know this," would not he who weighs the hearts discern? He who watches over your life, would he not know it? And shall he not repay man according to his work? My son, eat honey, for it is good, and the honeycomb sweet to your taste. Know that wisdom is thus for your being. If you have found it, there is a future, and your expectancy is not cut off. Do not lie in wait, O wrong one, against the dwelling of the righteous. Do not ravage his resting place. For 7 times a righteous man falls and rises, but the wrong one stumbles into evil. Do not exult when your enemy falls, and do not let your heart rejoice when he stumbles. Lest Yahuwah see it, and it be evil in his eyes, and he turn away his wrath from him. Do not fret because of evildoers, and do not envy the wrong, for there is no future for the evildoer. The lamp of the wrongdoers is put out. My son, fear Yahuwah and the sovereign. Do not mingle with those who change, for their calamity arises suddenly, and who knows the ruin of both of them? These also are for the wise. It is not good to show partiality in right ruling. He who says to the wrong, "You are righteous," peoples curse him, nations despise him. But those who rebuke the wrong, it is pleasant, and a good blessing comes on them. He who gives a right answer kisses the lips. Prepare your outside work, and make it fit for yourself in the field. Then you shall build your house. Do not witness against your neighbor without cause, and do not deceive with your lips. Do not say, "Let me do to him as he did to me. I repay each according to his work." I passed by the field of the lazy, and by the vineyard of a man lacking heart, and see, it was all overgrown with thorns. Its surface was covered with nettles, and its stone wall was broken down. When I saw it, I set my heart on it. I looked and received discipline. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. And your poverty shall come, a prowler, and your need like an armed man. Chapter 25. These two are Proverbs of Shalomo, which the men of Hiskiah, sovereign of Yehuda, copied. It is the esteem of Elohim to hide a matter, and the esteem of sovereigns to search out a matter. The heavens for height, and the earth for depth, but the heart of sovereigns is unsearchable. Take away the dross from silver, and a vessel comes forth for the refiner. Take away the wrong from before the sovereign, and his throne is established in righteousness. Do not exalt yourself before a sovereign, and do not stand in the place of great men. For it is better for him to say to you, "Come up here," than that you should be put lower before a noble whom your eyes have seen. Do not go forth to strive in haste, for what would you do in the end when your neighbor has put you to shame? Plead your case with your neighbor himself, and do not disclose the secret of another, lest he who hears it put you to shame, and your evil report turn not back. A word spoken at the right time is like apples of gold in settings of silver. A ring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise one's reproof to an ear that hears. Like the cold of snow in time of harvest is a trustworthy messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the life of his masters. He who boasts of his gifts falsely is like clouds and wind without rain. Through patience a ruler is persuaded, and a soft tongue shatters a bone. Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be satisfied with it and vomit. Make your foot rare in your neighbor's house, lest he gets enough of you and hate you. A man bearing false witness against his neighbor is like a club and a sword and a sharp arrow. Trust in a treacherous man in time of distress is like a broken tooth or a foot out of joint. One who takes away a garment in cold weather is like vinegar on soda, and a singer of songs on an evil heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you are heaping coals of fire on his head, and Yahuwah rewards you. The north wind brings rain, and a secret tongue, an enraged face. It is better to dwell in a corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Like cold water to a parched throat is good news from a distant land. A righteous man who gives way before the wrong is like a muddied spring and a ruined fountain. It is not good to eat much honey. Is it esteem to seek one's own esteem? A man who has no control over his spirit is like a broken down city without a wall.